So we're taking a look at another new digital camcorder. This one is an Everio S, the GZ-MS120. What we found interesting about this one is it has two SD cards. So it can continue to film. If you run out of memory, you can switch to the other SD card. So we're looking at, it includes the power charger, battery pack, an AV cable and a USB cable and some software. So we'll open it up. This was a new one that was open and on display at the store. You know how that goes. So should be okay. The battery's still sealed, so I don't think anybody's used it yet. Got some product info, quite a bit of paperwork here. Looks like a quick, that's an accessory guide to give you the different options on batteries. Looks like there's some different size of batteries. It's been a while since we had a camcorder format or a camcorder type of video camera. We've been using the small ones so much lately. And we've got that USB cable that they talked about. Power, no, AV. There's that battery. Luckily there's no moving parts on a battery. Power cord doesn't look too bad. It's not super compact. Looks like it's a proprietary end. Kind of small. You know, we like to see them as small as possible, especially for travel. Then we've got the camera, and there's some things in here. What are these? TDK. Oh, I think these are the deals for the wires. I'm not sure what these are. I'll have to double check on that. And then you get it all in this sort of egg crate material inside of a cardboard box. So lots of packaging like usual with this kind of stuff. The camera itself comes in this sort of static lint bag or whatever they're calling these. Of course, they stuck a store thing on it. Never happy about that, but you get a little discount when you buy them off the floor. So pretty much just like it looks like. What do you know? It says YouTube on there, one-touch export. It's pretty much standard features that we're used to. A lot of chrome on it. Not real happy about that, but I guess there could be worse things. At least it's in red and not pink or something. Sometimes when you buy the last one, you don't get a color choice. With the battery, not real big. Something I thought was kind of neat here. There's that clip, and you can strap it to your hand, camcorder style. But if you don't choose to do so, you're not required to, and you're not stuck with it, because you can just pull that through and it goes nice. And this is like a rubber piece where it says JVC there, and then you just close that clasp, and now you've just got a lanyard. So I really like that feature about it. Not the reason to buy one, I suppose, but I like the feature. There's the USB cable. I guess that's good, so it's on the bottom here, so it can be laying down, possibly being used. We've got our battery release on the bottom. The battery just sort of shifts. You can see where it shifts and slides out. Its power, or on off I guess, is over here. Looks like the other controls are up here, fairly standard. It's got snapshot for taking a photo. It says laser touch operation, so I assume this must be a slider of some sort. We'll know when we get it plugged in. We've got our buttons over here, AV, and then the SD port is under that chrome thing there. And there's two slots here for SD, A and B. And like I said, I think that's a pretty interesting feature of it. We're looking at 40x dynamic zoom, so a little tentative on what that might be. Doesn't say HD anywhere, so I don't think this is an HD camera, but it does say HC, so I'm assuming that must be how well it can record. to look at without the thing being plugged in. I'll go through the manual here while it's charging, and we'll take a look at this JVC Everio S, the GZ-MS120. Alright, we went ahead and plugged it into the power, to the outlet there, and it looks like we're getting a charging flashing light, and I'm just curious to see if it'll turn on for us. I just opened the lid there and it answered my question for me. It went ahead and turned on. I just was looking to see what we have for a lens protector, and I don't think there is one. I didn't hear anything. I'll have to close the lid here. Oh, there it is. Good. So there is a lens protector. One of the reasons I went with the large one like this as opposed to the little handheld like a flip or something similar is the lens. The idea being that with a larger format like this, the camcorder style, this is a real lens, you know, made out of glass. Usually they have pretty substantial optical zoom. I'm not sure what this one's going to be like, but that's why I went with this one. We're going to be doing some traveling and be doing some video that we want to have high quality from. So of course we're going to be looking for sorry, I'm kind of distracted as I'm looking at this. We're going to be looking for good quality, and that usually means good lens. So I do have it turned on here, and I'm kind of looking at the screen. I haven't obviously read the manual. I just turned off the camera, plugged it in, and turned the camera back on here. But I can see a record button. Neat. It does look like it's touchscreen. I'm barely touching it here. Things are happening. So pretty neat. There's a little Knight Rider type of blue line there that follows my finger. I can't imagine any kid in their right mind would not want to play with this a lot. But we're looking at it for more of a utility here. Okay, now I figured it out. I thought that that T and that W meant telephoto and wide angle. I thought that that would meant just slide up and down, but what it actually meant was touch right there. And it does a good job of quickly, smoothly panning in and out. You can see there. I don't have a card in here, and of course I don't really even have a card in this room, so I'll have to go grab a card so that we can start seeing what the quality is on this camera. So I'll pause for just a moment and grab a memory card. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put a memory card in there. If anybody's seen our little trick here, we keep our empty cards on this side, and then as they get filled up, they go into this other side. I'm assuming we should put it into side A to begin with. There's a little note there to tell you which way to put it in. So, set date and time. Yes. Okay, I'm not pushing the screen anymore. I think I'm supposed to push these little buttons underneath here as opposed to the screen. So I'm not going to touch the screen anymore. Clock setting, area setting. We're in Tucson, so I'm bringing it over here to Denver, Phoenix. I guess we'll take that. Set for daylight savings time. And we're at 3:01 p.m. We don't do daylight savings time, so I'll leave that set to off. It's January. And it's January 7th. It's actually pretty easy to get used to this little touchpad thing. And it's not 2008 anymore. 2010. And what time is it? 3:02 now. What do you bark every time I say 3:02? What are you doing? Why don't you go sit down somewhere? And we'll quit out of there. So now we've got the time set, I think. Got kind of a neat looking pause or hold little icon there. So now we're back to using the card here a little bit. Now I did want, we definitely do a lot of video reviews and gear reviews and whatnot. We want to be able to zoom in well. And I can't tell if this is doing a good job or not, honestly. It doesn't look really good in this screen, but I think I had the screen adjusted wrong, because now it looks really good in the screen. So I'm thinking it's going to do a good job. It looks very clear. This screen looks very clear. Yeah, it definitely can do macro. Not as much as all that, but yeah, look at that. Oops. We're looking at the the small word free there on the top of this little Secrets can. So I'd say it's probably doing a pretty good job. I guess I'll hit the record button. So now I'm doing my first recording with the Everio S. Using the wide angle zoom up at the top here. Is fairly quick and fast. I do like how it's also here though, because a lot of times you do have your hands sort of near your view screen. Very reactive, very smooth, in and out. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Let's get into that menu. We do have it recording right now, so I'm not sure what it's going to let us do. Turn on the built-in light. So I guess there's a built-in light. Let's get back to that. Setting it to on. There you go. You got a built-in light. So now we've got a light. I'm not going to turn off all my lights, but that's kind of interesting. Never had one with a light before. Let's turn that off. And it has an auto. That's interesting. Maybe whenever it feels like it, it'll turn it on. So we've got some one-touch DirecTV, upload, export, DirecTV. We're not going to be dealing with that too much. Looks like there's a switch here to make it a video or a still camera. That's a little depressing. I would hope I could just do a snapshot while... Oh, I think I just did. I saw the word photo appear up here. As I push the button. Alright, well this has got to be the most boring video ever for someone watching this one. But it does look fairly clear. And I'm going to go ahead and hit record, or hit the button again. I was accidentally touching this button this time. So I'm a little distracted. This probably isn't my best camera review. I'm kind of exploring it and playing with it a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead now, though, I think, and look through that menu again to see what other kind of options we have. Register event, zoom, video quality. Let's take a look at what we have for video quality. We have ultra fine, fine, normal, economy. So they don't call it high def, but they're calling it ultra fine, and it looks like that's what we were just recording in. So that's good. We'll quit out of there. Video quality, we've got zoom. Let's see what we can do there. We got 35x optical, 40x dynamic, 80x digital, and 800x digital. I'm going to leave it at 35x optical because I'd definitely rather have the optical qualities of this lens than the digital stuff. Although we will experiment with the digital, I suppose. We got DIS, which is digital stabilization, digital image stabilization, and that is on. Gain up, aspect ratio, and that's set to 16:9, which is basically high def. Cut wind, that's interesting. Wind cut, excuse me. All the kids are screaming right now. They're all laughing. But it's got wind cut, that's interesting. Sounds like it'll reduce the wind noise. auto switch record media. That's great. So it'll automatically go to your second SD card. And for some event type of photography, that might work really well. Display settings. We have language, clock adjust, date, monitor, brightness, monitor backlight. I guess neat stuff. Nothing I'm too interested in changing right now. Basic settings, connection settings, media settings, and that looks like it. So let's take a look at media settings. We got video slot selection, image slot selection, and the SD card. And format the SD card. That is an interesting feature. We can leave either one in reserve, or we can set one to be used for stills and one to be used for videos. I really like that feature. Connection settings, I really don't care, but I'll click on it just so that people can see it. I take my SD card out and I use it, so I don't use my camera to display or export or transfer anything, but it looks like it's going to give you options for your TV or not. And then lastly, I guess we've got basic settings as the last one to look at. We've got a demo, it's kind of nice. An auto power off, probably lets us set the time. Operation sounds. Are these just on-offs? Yeah, these are just on-offs. Record button. I'm not sure what that record button one was. I hit the wrong button there. Record button under. I don't know what that means. Quick restart. Recording can start shortly after power turns on. Update camera software, and then factory presets. So it looks like it's actually, I don't want to set the default settings. Oh, I see. I tried to hit quit and it did something else. So mumbling a little bit to myself there. Sorry if this was a boring review. Really just my first impressions of this little JVC.